Alright, so I've got my 5 tables here. I've got one called Apple. It's got information about all the Apple products. I've got an employee info table, and it's got information about employees. I've got movie data. It's got some random movies I put in and information about them. I've got a survey, and it's just got random information that you ask someone to put in for a survey. And I've got states, and it's got some states and their information. They're all inside of this final database. And I've got this script over here, and I've already tried out all of these, and they all work. I just printed out a script so I can make this video shorter, and so that I'm not spending time figuring out what I did wrong with the syntax. I could just look down and see what I'm missing. Alright, so select is going to select information out of my table. First name is going to be the column that I'm going to be selecting, and I'm going to be calling it name. I'm also going to be selecting the pay rate column right here, and employee info is going to be the table that I'm going to be using. And when it says order by pay rate, what it's going to do is it's going to take pay rate and it's going to order it in ascending order. And there's the information right there. It's got the names of the people, and it's got the pay rate right there going from smallest to largest. Alright, so pretty much what this is saying is select all of the columns from my employee info table, and where specifies that it's going to select everything when the column birth date is less than the year 1995. So pretty much it's giving me everything, but anyone that's birthday is greater than 1995, it's leaving that out of there. Alright, so what this is going to do, it's going to select all the columns from my survey table, and the where name like is going to take this right here, and the S with the underscore, the way it's set up right here with the percent sign afterwards, that's pretty much telling it that it's going to return anything that starts with an S. And it's got these two names right here. Everybody else doesn't have a name of an S, so it didn't show up. Alright, so update, what that does is it allows you to go into a table and change values. And set is going to take my number of siblings column, and it's going to set one of the rows to 2 where number of siblings equals 1. So anywhere that any of my rows that has the number of siblings set to 1, it's going to change siblings to 2. So then I go back to and I probably should have shown this ahead of time, but what that did was that took this first value, and the number of siblings used to be 1 right here, and it changed it to 2. So just to show that again, if I were to go back and change it again, I could change it back to 1. So this is pretty much backwards now. Now it's going to say anywhere where it equals 2, it's going to be changed to 1. So I go back, and that was changed back to 1. Okay. So what this is doing is I'm creating a table called survey2 like survey. So that means it's going to copy all the columns, and it's going to copy all the columns from survey, and it's going to save it in a new table called survey2. What this second line right here is doing is it's inserting everything, all the rows, into survey2 and the information that it's getting that from is from the select statement. It's you're selecting everything from the original survey table, and then you're inserting that into survey 2. So the first line clones the table, and the second line takes everything from the original table and puts it in the new table. So now whenever I go back into my database, I've got survey and I've got survey 2. When I open up survey 2, it's got all the same values from my original survey table. Alright, so what this is doing is, so I've got this alter table, and that's changing this table. It's allowing me to add another column into it. So I'm adding a new column named time, and right here it's telling me that it's going to be a date time value. And after sex means that it's going to insert it after the sex column. And over here at the bottom, I'm inserting into survey time. That means that the column time is what I'm inserting into. And the value that I'm adding is this function right here, which is now. And what now does is it inserts the current date time into the date time value. So now I go back over to survey, and now as you can see I've got a time column right here that's new, and because I didn't update, I have all these null values. All I did was I inserted a new row down here with this current time right here, which is today's date and today's time. And if I wanted to go change all these null values, I would just go in and update the table. Alright, so pretty much what this is doing is I'm selecting and changing the format of this date value from my Apple table. So what this is doing right here, date formats the function, and inside of here I'm changing the format of my date value. Release date right over here is my column. So it's going to take all the values from release date and it's going to put all those values in this format. Pretty much these over here, the % plus the letter is going to tell how to display it. The W, I don't completely remember what that is, but I'll figure out as soon as I run this code. That D right there, I believe, stands for day. This M right there is month, and the Y is year. Now the capital Y versus the lowercase y, the capital Y is going to be a 4-day, 4-number year. The M, if it's capitalized, is going to be the name of the month instead of just the numbers. I don't completely remember what these two do. Alright. Okay, so yeah. So pretty much what it did, the %W was the day of the week. And because it was capitalized, it was the day of the week. If it was lowercase, I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look that up, but it might be a number corresponding to the day of the week. And then I've got the lowercase d, which corresponds to the number day. I've got the capital M for the name of the month, and I've got the capital Y for the 4-digit year. And that just reformatted these. And if I go back and look at the original table, this is the format that it is in by default. The 4-digit year, 2-digit month, and then 2-digit day. Alright, so for this, we are going to take the birth dates of the people in my employee info table. We're going to take their birth dates, and based on that, we're going to find their age. So right here, I'm selecting the first name of the people, and I'm selecting their birth date. And then over here, the third thing I'm selecting is I'm taking this timestamp diff function, and I need to input 3 things for this. I've got the first thing is year. That tells how you're going to the unit of measurement. So we're measuring how low they are in years, so I've got to put year right there. The second thing is the starting point, which is their birth date. The third thing that I need to put in is the current date. So it's going to take the difference between the birth date and the current date. And then it's going to find how many years of a difference it is. And so what this is going to do is going to select their first name, their birth date, and how many years old they are. And then the as age in years is going to be the column that displays the rows which show the number of years old they are. And employee info is just the table I'm selecting it from. So it's got all their names right there, it's got their birth dates, and then it tells how many years old they are right there. Alright, so pretty much what this is going to do, it's going to show me the length and characters of my shortest movie title in my movie data table, and then it's also going to show me my longest movie title. So I'm selecting the minimum, which is a function. This min function is going to take the character length of my title column, and it's going to look through all that, and the min pretty much means that it's going to find the minimum amount, or the minimum title. So how do I word this? It's going to take the title and it's going to find the one with the minimum amount of character lengths, and it's just going to display the number of characters in that title. And this max over here is going to do the opposite. It's going to search through my title column and it's going to find the title with the maximum amount of character lengths, and it's going to display the amount of characters. And then I'm going to call the first one shortest and the second one longest. And it's just going to take it from my movie data table. So now, as you can tell, my shortest movie title is 5 characters long, and my longest one is 14 characters long. So then if I go into my movie data, I guess click over here would be the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never mind. Okay, so I don't know why that's apparently 5 characters long. I don't know why it displayed 4. But anyway, it's supposed to take the shortest and the longest amount of character lengths. So pretty much I'm just typing in the same code as before, but I'm putting it in a view. And pretty much what a view is, you can put some selections in a view, and then you could run the view kind of like you would run a function, and it will just take all that code that's in between it and it'll just run it and it'll show you those selections. Alright, so this right here is going to create the view, and it's going to call it my view. Now I'm just going in here seeing if I got everything right. Alright, so it created a view. So now if I go back in here and I just select the view, then it should give me all the code that was in the middle of it. See? Oh, well, I got it right that time. So it gives me the shortest movie length and the longest movie length. And if I want to do that, now all I have to do is reference my view instead of typing in all that code like before. Alright, so pretty much, let's see. So I'm creating a trigger, and what the trigger does is it allows me to, it makes MySQL change something about a table when you update another table. So I'm creating a trigger called myTrigger, and after insert of Apple, or not of, on, so that's pretty much saying when I insert something into my Apple table, it's going to update my states table, and for any row in my column name, it's going to set all the rows to changed, just to show that I changed something from that table. It's not really a purpose to this. It's just showing what a trigger does. So first of all, I'm just going to run this right now, which creates the trigger. Alright, let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, I misspelled set. Alright, so I'm going to run that for now. What? Oh, I don't know, maybe if I...
Do you know where my shoes are? No. Oh.
Alright, let's see if that works now. Alright, see if I can figure out what I did wrong. Maybe I have to do this? Maybe I already created the trigger. So let me see. First of all, let me explain what I'm trying to do. So when I change something in the Apple table, it's supposed to go to the states table, and all the names are going to be changed to change, just showing that the trigger works. Now, I might have already made the trigger, so it might not let me do it again. I'm not sure if that's the case. So let me try to change something from my Apple table. Okay, I think I know what I did. I think I was clicked on one of these tables, and instead I need to get back to the database. So I think that might be the problem. So let me type this back in. All right. Okay, so apparently I've already made the triggers, what it's telling me, so that's not going to work. So I apparently have already done this, and I've already made a trigger called MyTrigger. So let me change something from, okay, so now if I insert into Apple, I'm going to insert something into the product product column, and I'm going to insert a row with iPhone 8. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. It should let me insert some of them over here. And I have no idea why this isn't working, but it should. It's saying table final states 2 does not exist. Okay, so I think I know what's going on. So I already made a trigger, and what it does is it changes from it changes things from a table called state 2. But I deleted that yesterday, so it's not going to be able to change that anymore. So I'm going to create a new trigger that messes with the original states table. So I'm going to call this MyTrigger2. So it's going to be a completely new trigger. All right. Let's try this. All right, well, There we go. All right. So I made that trigger called myTrigger. Now I'm going to change the Apple table and see if it works. All right. All right, perfect. So I inserted a row into the Apple table, which was this iPhone 8. And then what that did was that went over there to the states table, and now everything over here says changed. So what the trigger did is anytime I insert something into this Apple table, it will go over here to this states table, and it'll change over here to changed. And like I said before, there's really no purpose for this. It's just showing what a trigger does. All right, so I've got one more to do. That'll make 12. All right. So what this is supposed to do, hopefully I don't have any problems with this one too, is I'm creating a function called average population. What it does over here, it says returns float. That means the value it's going to give me when it runs this is going to be a float value. And reads SQL data, I'm not entirely sure why I have to put that in there, but I saw it in a tutorial, and it says to put in reads SQL data, and it works when I put it in there, so I'm just going to keep putting it in there. Return. So this is actually what's going to be returned. So what it's going to do is going to select, and then it's going to use the function average. And what it's going to do is going to average up all the values in my population column from my states table. So what that's going to do is it's going to give me the average population of all the states that I have in that table. And it's going to do that every time I call upon this function, average population. So let's make the function, see if it works. All right, so now the function's made, and now I just got to select the function. All right, so now I'm selecting the function, and all right, so it gives me the average population of my states. So pretty much what that did is it took all the sizes over here, and it found the average of them, and it gave me a number which was the average of all those. And all I have to do is call upon that function every time I select the function, it's going to do the same thing to that table. All right, so that should have been at least 12. I made sure to combine a lot of the easy ones to make sure I had enough in that project, and I apologize for that last example taking so long, but there you go.